What's up, guys? It's Demapples here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at this absolutely insane chess puzzle. Um, I've been going through Varetsky's endgame manual, and something caught my attention with this puzzle here. And the interesting thing about this puzzle is that I plugged it into Stockfish, right? And Stockfish does not understand a thing. It's kind of crazy how people can invent these positions and engines just don't know how to solve them. So, um, White here is in a dilemma, as we can see. Uh, if White does nothing, like his pawn goes, it promotes, and well, White loses, right? So the question is, how can we stop Black from doing this? Well, you're too slow. Like, let's say you go knight f6. Here, here, here. You're too late. Um, like you think you can get around here, but this is too late. Black goes here and controls the square, promotes next move. So none of this stuff is working, and White needs to find a very creative solution for this problem. And so I encourage you guys to pause the video and see what you can come up with, but it's a pretty crazy puzzle. Alright, and the first move at least is bishop to f6. Now this has an interesting point, I mean a very simple point at that. If h2, then bishop e5 check, forking the king and the pawn, and how the tables have turned, White wins. So this is pretty cool. If Black fell for it. And again, if Black does nothing, White will still check here and blockade the pawn, and White should be able to win. But let's see. So Black's only move after this bishop to f6 move is to play king d6. Black has to prevent White from moving the bishop here. Now White's in a bit of trouble. White has to play a very precise move in order to not lose the game, and that is to be chicken. You know, just chicken out and go check. Now, first of all, I'd like to point out that White would be really happy if Black just went king c7, bishop f6, and we repeated moves and made a draw happily ever after. Unfortunately, Black, seeing that his pawn is so close to promotion after bishop f6, like king d6 is not going to let you get away with a draw. So after bishop e7, Black goes king c6. It's like, I control the square, you're not gonna get to my pawn. How do you stop my pawn now? And here is where the problem kicks in. It's clear that White has no other alternative but a very, very creative one. He's exhausted all his very obvious options, like a simple fork on e5. And so what White's gonna try to do is build a fortress, right? He's gonna try to hide his king here and lock it down and see if he can hold. But there is a small caveat. So this is the right move. White is just trying to shut the door and hope that his king is enough to secure the draw, just hiding here. h2, and now White needs to play a key move. This move is really not obvious, and if you would like to try, pause the video and find it, I would highly encourage you to. But without further ado, here is the move. Actually, let's take a look at what fails and why it fails. King f8. Looks like a very obvious move. White's just going along with the plan. Hiding the king here, and like probably just shuffling the bishop back and forth and being like, haha, you can't get me. Because, I mean, I have a very nice structure here, you know, and you can't get to my king. But Black can get to the king, and it's a really, really deep, slow, deep process. But promotes. And this is just a sample line, but it's not like White can do anything. White is pretty helpless here. And so, this is pretty much the line mentioned in Varetsky's endgame manual. Black pins the bishop and walks the king to f5. This is very important. that black gains the tempo and also is pressuring this pawn. And at the very right moment, black goes queen h2 and sacrifices the queen back for the knight. Now you can see the evaluation bar jump all the way back to only minus like 1. But this is winning, and for a very simple reason. After this, the resulting opposite color bishop endgame. Although most opposite color bishop endgames are drawn, this one is not. Since black has like much more control than white's king, black's king can essentially eternally box it out. So after king h5, this pawn is running, and white can't stop it because his king is just too far away. None of his pieces are helping. So the only way white can stop this, because he like practically can't move his king to this side of the board, is with the bishop, getting on this diagonal and controlling this square. So it's a sample line. It's the engine's recommendation. But again, it's too little too late. Black is pushing the pawn, bringing the king over, and forcing the bishop out of g1, promoting. And after this is easy. White has to take the queen, and this is a theoretical win. Black goes and tries to attack the pawn with an easy win. Now, the move here is less obvious. Obviously, white needs to prevent black from capturing this knight. But how does he do it? It's not super obvious until you really think about it. And the move here is bishop f8. The reason why this move is such an amazing move is that white just intends to block up the file and then proceed to hide the king and shuffle the knight on a dark square where it cannot be taken, right? Because black can only take stuff on the light squares. It doesn't have a dark square bishop or a knight that can take anything on the dark squares. So if white just has dark square domination, this might be a fortress. Queens. Bishop h6, very important move. Just clogging up the file and not hanging a free knight. Yeah, it's important not to hang pieces. King c5, and now king f8. Checks are pretty futile, and they just lead to white getting what he wants. The king is running here. So just as the computer's best move, here, take check, and here. And honestly, what can black do? Black can't do anything. White just shuffles this knight back and forth. And unlike the previous position, like black can't just blindly sacrifice. I'm gonna go for knight f8 because that's what I said. Black doesn't sacrifice here. He loses. Like, white's promoting. You're not stopping this pawn. I hate to break it to you. So you can't sacrifice the queen for the bishop. And every time, let's say a queen here and here, like, now this is a normal opposite color bishop endgame. You're never winning this as black. And yet, after all of this evidence, you can see the evaluation at the very beginning of the puzzle when we start with the move bishop to f6. Well, even in this position, the evaluation is minus 2.78, which is usually just a decisive advantage. But as we keep going here, the engine still doesn't change its mind, realizing it's wrong after all of this. And if you look at the lines given by Stockfish, we can find that it actually has no idea what to do. This fortress is actually unbreakable. It makes a lot of sense. White just shuffles this knight back and forth on a dark square, and on a light square where black's king or any other piece just can't reach. It's just that simple. And yet Stockfish doesn't understand this simple concept. But hopefully you do now, and you took away something from this video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.